Int hospital suite. Daeven lies unconscious in a pristine high-end hospital room. Monitors beep steadily. A faint stir, then his eyes flutter open, disoriented, then sharp with confusion. Evan, gruffly. How long have I been here? Dr. Anderson. Mid-60s, composed and seasoned, steps forward with a tablet. Dr. Anderson. Nearly 24 hours. You suffered a severe collapse due to dehydration, exhaustion, and, frankly, overload. Your heart's under significant stress. Evan, irritated. Spare me the dramatics, doctor. When can I leave? Dr. Anderson. If you walk out now, you're gambling with your life. Your EKG indicates early signs of cardiac failure. Statistically, you're facing a 70% chance of a major event in the next 5 years, if not sooner. Evan. Scoffs, already pulling at the IV, Evan. I've got 6 companies and a board meeting tomorrow. I don't have time for scare tactics. The door opens. Nora steps in, holding Ellie's hand. The little girl's face lights up. Ellie, Daddy, you're awake! She rushes to the bed, climbs up, wraps her arms around Evan. For a fleeting moment, his expression softens as he hugs her back. Then his gaze lands on Nora. Evan, stiffly. Who are you? Why is my daughter with you? Nora. Calmly, Nora Bennett. I was volunteering at the gala. I'm also a nurse. Your staff asked me to stay with Ellie. She wouldn't leave the hospital last night, and she trusts me. Evan, curt. Well, I'm awake now. That won't be necessary anymore. Ellie, pleading. No, Daddy, please. Miss Nora stayed with me all night. She told me stories and made me feel safe. She promised you'd come back. Evan's jaw tightens, eyes still guarded. Evan, to Ellie gently. We're fine on our own, sweetheart. Just like always. Nora watches him a moment, measuring the wall he's so carefully built around himself. Nora, children can see what adults work so hard to hide, especially the ones we pretend we're protecting. Evan's glare sharpens. Evan, I didn't ask for your analysis. Nora. No, you didn't. But someone needs to tell you the truth, and I'm not afraid to. Beat. Evan looks at her, really looks, for the first time. There's something familiar in her strength, her calm under pressure. The same woman he once dismissed now holds both his daughter's trust, and perhaps a mirror he's been avoiding. Dr. Anderson. Mr. Rhodes, I recommend we schedule further testing next week. At minimum, Evan, stern. I have a company to run. Nora. Steps closer, her voice quiet but firm. Nora. The body has a way of whispering before it screams. It'll keep trying to get your attention until it doesn't have to anymore. A long pause. Evan freezes mid-motion as if the weight of her words finally lands. Ellie still clings to his arm, watching him anxiously. Then, slowly, Evan lets go of the IV line. He exhales, something between surrender and realization. Evan, to Nora, low. You really think this is a message? Nora. I think it's a second chance. Someone who speaks an uncomfortable truth. Vulnerability flickers across his face before his walls go back up. I've been managing just fine for 2 years without anyone's advice, he says, but the edge in his voice has dulled slightly. Daddy, Ellie whispers. Please don't be mad at Miss Nora. She saved you. In that moment, something shifts in Evan's eyes. The realization that his daughter witnessed his collapse, that she feared losing him like she lost her mother. It's a crack in his perfectly constructed armor. 3 days later, Evan is back at home in his sprawling penthouse apartment. Despite doctor's orders, he's surrounded by laptops and phones, barking orders during a video conference while Ellie plays quietly in the corner of his home office. The doorbell rings. Evan's housekeeper appears at the office door. Mr. Rhodes. There's a Ms. Bennett here to see Ellie. She brought some books and sent her away. Evan interrupts, not looking up from his screen. The housekeeper hesitates. Sir, Miss Ellie has been asking for her since yesterday. She said, Miss Bennett promised to bring her a special present. Ellie perks up immediately. Miss Nora is here. Daddy, please. Evan sighed deeply, pinching the bridge of his nose. Fine. 10 minutes in the living room. Minutes later, Nora enters the living room where Ellie waits excitedly. She carries a small tote bag. Evan stands in the doorway, arms crossed, observing. Miss Nora! Ellie launches herself at the woman. Nora hugs her warmly. Hello, sunshine. I brought you something special. She reaches into her bag and pulls out a children's book about the human heart and a small teddy bear wearing a doctor's coat. This is Dr. Hart. Well, Nora explains, handing the bear to Ellie. He's very good at listening to worries and making people feel better. Ellie clutches the bear tightly. Can he make Daddy's heart better too? Evan shifts uncomfortably in the doorway. Nora smiles gently. Well, your daddy's heart is strong, but even strong hearts need care sometimes. Evan steps forward, irritation visible. Ms. Bennett, I appreciate the gesture, but Ellie has plenty of toys. It's not just a toy, Nora replies calmly. It's a way for Ellie to process what happened. Children need tools to understand scary experiences. Evan scoffs. And what do you know about hearts, let alone parenting? Ellie hugs Dr. Hartwell tighter. Daddy, don't be mean. Something flashes in Nora's eyes. Not anger, but a deep resolve. Actually, Mr. Rhodes, I know quite a bit about hearts. I was an emergency cardiac nurse for 8 years, before I became a community health nurse. Evan raises an eyebrow, surprised. And as for your second question, Nora continues steadily, I know that grief affects children differently than adults. I know that sometimes they need permission to be scared for the people they love. Ellie, sweetie. Nora turns to the girl. Why don't you take Dr. Hartwell to meet your other toys? I need to talk to your dad about grown-up things for a minute. Once Ellie leaves, Nora's demeanor changes subtly, professional, direct. Mr. Rhodes, I didn't come here to overstep. I came because your daughter called me 3 times from your housekeeper's phone, crying because she's afraid you'll collapse again. Evan's composure slips. She what? She lost her mother, Mr. Rhodes. Now she's terrified of losing you too. The collapse triggered all that fear. Evan runs a hand through his hair, momentarily stripped of his CEO persona. I didn't realize children don't always tell us what they're feeling. They show us. Evan studies Nora with new interest. You said you were a cardiac nurse, past tense. Why'd you leave? Nora's expression tightens almost imperceptibly. I reported a hospital administrator for covering up a patient death due to negligence. 3 months later, I was let go for performance issues that hadn't existed before my report. You threw away your career over one incident? Evan asks incredulously. I honored my oath, Nora corrects him firmly. Some promises are worth keeping, even at great cost. Their eyes meet, 2 strong-willed individuals recognizing something in each other. Evan's phone rings, breaking the moment. I need to take this, he says, already reaching for it. Nora nods, gathering her bag. Of course, I'll say goodbye to Ellie. As she walks away, Evan calls after her. Miss Bennett, thank you for what you did at the gala. Nora turns, offering a small smile. Just doing my job, Mr. Rhodes. Evan, he says, surprising himself. My name is Evan. Evan, she repeats softly before leaving, the name hanging in the air, like a bridge beginning to form between them. 2 weeks later, the lobby of the Department of Child Welfare. Evans sits rigidly in an uncomfortable chair, his lawyer beside him. His fingers drum nervously on his knee, a rare display of anxiety. From the typically composed CEO, a stern-faced social worker, Miss Graves, sits across from them, reviewing a thick file. Mr. Rhodes, we've received concerning reports about your health condition and your ability to provide stable care for Ellie, she states without preamble. Evan leans forward, My health is fine. That incident was a one-time event. According to your medical records, which you authorized the court to review during your initial custody hearings, you've been advised by 3 separate doctors to reduce stress and take medical leave. You've refused each time. I'm a single father running multiple companies. I can't just, Mr. Rhodes, Ms. Graves interrupts. The court granted you full custody after your wife's passing because you demonstrated you could prioritize Ellie's needs. Recent events suggest otherwise. The lawyer interjects with legal arguments, but Evan barely hears them. A cold fear grips him, one far worse than any health scare, the possibility of losing Ellie. Later that evening, Evan's driver speeds through, the city taking him home. His mind races. He makes several angry phone calls, pulling every connection he has. When he arrives home, he's surprised to find Nora sitting with Ellie in the living room. They're building a model of the human heart together, laughing. Miss Bennett, Evan says tightly. I wasn't aware you were visiting today. The housekeeper appears quickly. Sir, Miss Ellie was very upset after school. She kept asking for Miss Bennett. I took the liberty of calling her. I hope that was acceptable. Ellie runs to her father. Daddy, Miss Nora is teaching me about hearts. Did you know yours has a special muscle that can get tired if you don't rest? Evan's jaw clenches. He asks the housekeeper to take Ellie to the kitchen for a snack. Once they're alone, his composure shatters. They're threatening to take her from me, he says, voice breaking. Child welfare. They're questioning my fitness as a parent because of what happened at the gala. Nora's expression fills with concern. Evan, I'm so sorry, but his grief quickly morphs to anger. Is that why you keep showing up? Did they send you to evaluate me? What? No, I first at the hospital, now here in my home, always watching, always judging how I parent my daughter. Nora stands. That's not what this is, isn't it? His voice rises. You, with all your expertise on children and hearts and whatever else you claim to know, you think you understand my family. You think you know what's best for Ellie? I'm only trying to help. Help? Evan laughs bitterly. Do you know what I've sacrificed to keep her safe after Sarah died? Do you know what it's like to hold your child while she cries for a mother who will never come back? I've been everything for her. Father, mother, protector for 2 years. I don't need anyone to tell me how to be a parent. Evan, Nora says firmly, this isn't about your parenting, it's about your health, about Ellie's fear of losing you. What do you know about family? He spits out, pain making him cruel. You're just a stranger passing through our lives. The words land like a physical blow. Nora steps back, tears welling in her eyes. You're right, she says quietly. I am a stranger, but sometimes strangers see things that family can't. She gathers her belongings, moving toward the door. She pauses, turns back. When you're ready to hear the truth instead of just your fear speaking, call me, not for my sake, for Ellie's. After she leaves, Evan stands alone in his vast, empty living room. From the kitchen, he hears Ellie's voice. Where did Miss Nora go? The question hangs in the air, unanswered. Late night in Evan's home office. Rain lashes against floor-to-ceiling windows. He sits in semi-darkness, a glass of whiskey untouched beside him. On his desk, Ellie's school photo, a picture of his late wife Sarah, and his medical records. His phone buzzes with urgent business messages. He ignores them. Instead, he types Nora Bennett, nurse whistleblower, into a search engine. Articles appear on screen. Top cardiac nurse files negligence report against Memorial Hospital. Whistleblower. Nurse dismissed after exposing patient safety. Concerns medical board. Vindicates nurse's claims 2 years too late. Evan reads intently, discovering that Nora's allegations were eventually proven correct, but only after she'd lost her specialized career and reputation. She declined settlement money, asking only that the hospital improve its safety protocols. A soft knock interrupts. His housekeeper, Mrs. Chen, appears at the door. "I'm sorry to disturb you, Mr. Rhodes, but Ellie had another nightmare. She's asking for Miss Bennett." Evan runs his hands over his face. "I'll go to her." In Ellie's room, butterfly nightlights cast gentle shadows. She clutches Dr. Hartwell, eyes red from crying. "Hey, princess." Evan sits beside her. "I dreamed you fell down again, Daddy. But this time you didn't wake up just like Mommy." The words pierce Evan's heart. He pulls his daughter close. "I'm right here, Ellie. I'm not going anywhere. But you work all the time and your heart is tired. Miss Nora said hearts need rest too." Evan swallows hard. "Did she? Now where did Miss Nora go? Did she leave, like Mommy?" The innocent question breaks something in Evan. For the first time since Sarah's death, he allows himself to truly feel the weight of his grief, his fear, his exhaustion. "No, sweetheart. Miss Nora didn't leave forever. I said some things that weren't very nice. You should say sorry. That's what you tell me to do out of the mouths of babes." Evan holds his daughter until she falls asleep. His mind made up. The next morning, Evan stands outside a community health clinic in a modest neighborhood, worlds away from his usual environments. He wears casual clothes instead of his customary suit. Inside, he asks for Nora. The receptionist looks surprised, but directs him to a small examination room where Nora is organizing supplies. She looks up, clearly shocked to see him. "Mr. Rhodes, Evan," he corrects softly. "Please." She waits, guarded. "I owe you an apology," he begins. "What I said was cruel and untrue. I was lashing out because I was scared." Nora's posture remains defensive. "Scared of what?" "Of failing, Helly. Of losing her like I lost Sarah. Of admitting that I haven't been handling things as well as I pretended." He takes a deep breath, producing a folder from his jacket. "I've made some decisions. I'm taking a 3-month medical leave from my companies. I've enrolled in a stress management program and a support group for single parents." He holds out the folder to her. "I've also set up regular checkups and promised to follow medical advice. It's all in writing, signed and witnessed. Not because anyone is forcing me, but because I want to be there for Ellie's college graduation someday." Nora takes the folder cautiously. "Why are you showing me this?" "Because you were right about everything. And because he hesitates. Vulnerability showing through because Ellie needs you. You make her feel safe in a way I haven't been able to since Sarah died." Nora studies him carefully. "And what exactly are you asking for?" "A second chance," he says simply. "Not forgiveness yet. I haven't earned that. But a chance to prove I can change for Ellie and maybe for myself, too." Nora opens the folder, reviews the documents. Finally, she looks up, her expression softening slightly. "Words are easy, Evan. Change is hard." He nods, accepting the challenge. "I know. That's why I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm asking you to watch me prove it." A hint of a smile touches her lips. Actions over promises that I can respect. As he turns to leave, she calls after him. "Evan, tell Ellie I'll come visit this weekend if that's okay." The relief on his face speaks volumes. She'd like that. So would I. It takes courage to admit. When we're wrong, have you ever had to swallow your pride to fix a relationship? A series of moments unfold over the next 2 months. Evan sits in a circle of other parents at a support group. Initially uncomfortable, but gradually opening up about his struggles balancing work and parenting. He takes Ellie to school himself. Instead of sending her with the driver, joining other parents at drop-off, awkwardly trying to fit in. In his home gym, he works with a physical therapist on stress reduction exercises, learning to regulate his breathing during anxiety spikes. Nora visits on weekends, sometimes helping Ellie with science homework, sometimes just reading together. Evan watches from third distance, slowly joining their activities. At a medical checkup, Dr. Anderson reviews. Evan's improved vitals. Your blood pressure is down. Stress markers are improving. Whatever you're doing, keep it up. Evan and Ellie create a worry box where she can place notes about things that scare her. Each night, they review them together. One note reads, "I'm afraid you'll start working all the time again." In his home office, Evan stares at his phone as his COO urgently requests his input on a major decision. After consideration, he types, "I trust your judgment. Handle it. Family time is non-negotiable now." Nora arrives one day to find Evan and Ellie baking cookies badly. Flour covers the kitchen. They're laughing. Evan looks up, catching Nora's eye. Something warm passes between them. Over dinner one evening with Nora present, Ellie asks innocently, "Miss Nora, do you have a family?" A moment of awkward silence. Nora smiles slightly. "I have my patients and some very dear friends, but no kids." Ellie persists. "Ellie," Evan cautions gently. "It's okay," Nora assures him. "No, Ellie, I don't have children of my own." "Why not? You'd be a really good mom." Nora's expression flickers with something like longing. Sometimes life takes unexpected turns, but that doesn't mean it can't still be beautiful. Later, after Ellie is in bed, Evan and Nora sit on the balcony with cups of tea. "You never talk about your family," Evan observes carefully. Nora gazes at the city lights. "There's not much to tell. My parents died when I was in nursing school. No siblings. I'm sorry. It's why I became a cardiac nurse, actually. My father died of a heart attack that could have been prevented with better care." Evan watches her profile in the dim light. "Is that also why you risked everything to report that negligence case?" She meets his gaze. "We all have lines we won't cross. That was mine." "I admire that," he says softly, "standing by your principles no matter the cost." "What about you?" she asks. "What's your line?" "I thought it was protecting Ellie, but I've realized protection isn't enough. She needs me present, not just providing." Nora smiles genuinely. "You've changed, Evan Rhodes. Thanks to you." "No," she corrects him. "You did the work. I just pointed out the door." Their hands rest on the table, inches apart, but not touching, a distance closing gradually at its own perfect pace. 6 months after the gala collapse, Ellie's school auditorium bustles with excitement. It's the annual talent show, and Ellie will perform a piano piece she's been practicing for weeks. Backstage, she peeks nervously through the curtain. "What if I mess up, Daddy?" Evan kneels to her level. "Then you'll keep going just like we talked about. Remember, what matters isn't being perfect. It's being brave enough to try. Is Miss Nora here yet? She's saving our seats. She wouldn't miss your big moment for anything." Ellie hugs him tightly. "I'm glad you're not working tonight. Nothing is more important than this," he promises. In the audience, Nora checks her watch. Evan should have returned from backstage by now. The show is about to begin. Her phone buzzes. With a text from Evan, "Need help, backstage right corner." Alarmed, she hurries through the crowded auditorium to the backstage area. In a quiet corner, she finds Evan seated on a chair, face pale, breathing labored. "Evan, what's wrong?" "Chest tight," he manages. "Don't want to scare Ellie." Nora immediately switches to nurse mode, checking his pulse, loosening his collar. "How long?" "Started during meeting today. Thought it was just stress." "I'm calling an ambulance," she says firmly. "No." He grabs her wrist. "Ellie's performance. Can't miss it. This could be a heart attack, Evan. We're not taking chances." As she calls emergency services, Evan's condition deteriorates. His breathing becomes more labored. Pain intensifies. The school principal approaches. "Is everything okay?" The show's starting. Nora makes a split-second decision. "Mr. Rhodes is having a medical emergency. Please don't tell Ellie yet. Let her perform first. We have help coming." Emergency services arrive discreetly through a side entrance. As they stabilize Evan for transport, he clutches Nora's hand. "Tell Ellie I'm so proud." "Tell her yourself," Nora insists, fighting tears. "This isn't where your story ends." From the auditorium comes applause, then piano music. Ellie's performance has begun. "Go," Evan whispers. "Watch her for me." Nora rushes to the auditorium, standing in the back as Ellie plays beautifully. She records the performance on her phone, tears streaming down her face. When Ellie finishes to enthusiastic applause, Nora meets her backstage and